talk about this. So I found I was going on Facebook and I see a lot of posts because I'm a moderator on the official Globe and Flat Earth discussion group, and I came across somebody that posted this new map, right? And so I looked at it and I thought it was pretty cool. And Eero, it turns out, actually knows these guys, but what they've done is they are doing the land layout according to the sun's position. All right. And that's how they've actually placed their continents. And the thing that was interesting about this is Cami looked at it and she goes, that's not bad. It's pretty close as far as the continent layout. Now, what is wrong about this map? And this is something that I think that we actually talked to these guys on the phone a while back. Is that the continent sizes are still wrong? They're still off. And so that's something that I think they're going to be fine tuning, but at least according to our way of thinking, there's certain sizes that are definitely discrepancies, but the layout we think is pretty close. And so like I said, the methodology that they're using is they're actually getting in contact with people around the world that can make observations at specific sun angles, specifically at zenith or whenever it's like directly above, when you have the least amount of distortion that's going to be giving you an apparent position of the sun instead of a true position. And they're putting it together like that. Now, when we talked to them the other night on Skype or WhatsApp or whatever we were using some different app that they use in the Spanish-speaking countries. We found out that they are also trying to correct for the size discrepancies that are taking place below the equator, and they kind of went into that a little bit, uh, which of course would give it discrepancies in size according to Google Earth, right? So when you look at Google Earth and you start sizing things up, especially south of the equator, there are some absolute discrepancies. But they're saying, well, the reason for part of that is because we are being misled as to the area that is the south of the equator. So I thought it was pretty interesting. And Ira, these guys. What do you think about this thing?
Yeah, I know the group behind this, Celino. It's the main character, the main guy behind this map, but he works with a lot of other guys who bring this together. And he has a YouTube channel called Samna, the Oraculo. Well, I don't know which is the name in English for Oraculo. Then I can send. Well, I imagine you have the link to share then in the comment section. But it was really nice. I remember and I showed this like at the end of Globebuster show like 2018 or 2019, because the fact is, when you, and this is my way of seeing this kind of thing. I am not a really good in terms of the maps, projections.
Mm-hmm.
That is why I really like to share that video about the masterpiece of the Gleason map. And what is clear for me, it's when you see the analemma in the sky, you immediately understand the reverse engineering that the second law of Kepler is doing. Because supposedly, in fact, I believe was yesterday, the Earth reached the highest acceleration around the sun. That is the news, some
Was it
news in
yesterday
the.
or today? I thought that was today that we hit.
Oh, well, yesterday, today is the same
Yeah,
thing.
whatever. Yeah, close enough. Yeah.
Whatever, whatever. But that is based on this elliptical orbit that you can see, elliptical movement or path that you can see in the sky when you uh, understand the analemma of the sun. But that implies that you have this big big circle on the bottom, for me at least, from in Argentina, when we see the analima, and the small circle on the top. So that is because the tropics are in different sizes, and that is where it's come this idea of the Grace Tyson saying that the earth is more like a pear shape, because they need to compensate the reverse engineering to say, okay, the bottom of the sphere is a little wider than the top. That, if you want to see in North Pole on the top and the South Pole in the bottom, because we know that supposedly it's not orientation, but the ecliptic and all this kind of stuff make some orientation, at least in the mind of the people. So the idea of the pear shape, he's not talking about that the earth is a pear shape, because supposedly it's really really tiny, the amount of pearness, if you want to see in
Right.
that way. But that is mean they are, and by the way, where the Grace Tyson took that idea, that is not his idea. That came from the Vanguard 1 satellite launch in 1958 or 57, that supposedly, and I have the original video, supposedly that satellite, which is like a replica of the Sputnik, but much smaller, take the measurements to determine that the Earth has a pear shape. So that is where it's come from. It's not an idea of the Grace Tyson or some other scientist. It came from the Vanguard One, and please type Vanguard One in Google and see that crap. That cannot make even a simple math calculation. I mean, they don't even have a camera. They nothing. So all these kind of things came from the difference in the tropic size. And if you live in the flat stationary plane that has like a circle, like the primary geometry, of course you're gonna have more wider one tropic than the other. And that's, for me, it's where is all these things came. And this guy really do that kind of observation and trying to transfer into a map.
Yeah, very interesting. I'll type that Skype into, or I'll type that address into Google here in a minute. But Cami sent this one. This is something that Cami was kind of messing around with. She was trying to explain this concept to me about how they're hiding, this space, by kind of running an analogy to peeling like an orange, right, and how it comes out. And it's interesting because when she was doing that and we were looking at it, I said, "Wow, that's kind of bizarre because it looks kind of like a turtle, right?" They say that the turtle is swimming around, in space, whatever. I just thought that was interesting. But when you do it this way, this actually matches pretty closely to their map. And this is something similar to what she's come up with, and she just dropped this one in the chat. But they're actually kind of close. But anyway, so Cami got excited about it and she got in touch with him, and so she's going to show some of her techniques that she's been using to them, and then use their manpower that they have, around the plane to be able to do these observations and see if they can't fine tune this. But like I said, one thing that is absolutely sure, and they're aware of it, we're aware of it, but the continent placement we believe is pretty close, but the continent size is still wrong, still off, and we're still trying. They're still trying to reconcile that. So there you have it.